Hello, everyone. Welcome to your video overview of both the how to research and how to cite cheat sheets that I have on within my literature courses. You'll see the Canvas pages. This video is just kind of an overview of both of those things. If you've already read through the documents that are on Canvas, this is just going to help reinforce the main points, attempt to answer any lingering questions, but of course, reach out if you have more. Great. So let's just dive right in. First up, we're going to just start with research. So you'll mostly need it for your final essay in this course, but again, these skills apply to everything you do here at RCU and beyond. So what counts as a secondary source? Secondary sources support or analyze your primary texts. These include scholarly articles, books like academic books, dissertations, and peer-reviewed journals. Here's what's not acceptable: Wikipedia, SparkNotes, Cliff Notes, BuzzFeed, blog posts, so on. It should be fairly obvious what isn't scholarly, but again, you'd be surprised. So if you use non-scholarly sources like these, your assignment will receive a 0. Always stick to credible material. Check with me if you are unsure. So where to start? Where do I even begin? The best place to start would be the library. Check Canvas. You can also check Canvas for other helpful links I've provided. But again, if you're online, here's some few trusted sites that I really like, that I recommend. Google Scholar and Google Books are great. You have Microsoft Academic, Base, Core, but my favorite and the one I really encourage everybody to look on is JSTOR, JSTOR. It's my favorite. You can find anything there, and you should be able to log in with your university login. If you're having difficulty, though, reach out because I have access to everything on JSTOR. So if you need an article and you can't fully access it, you can't download it, whatever, let me know. I'll download it for you and send it right to you, free of charge. Great. So how to tell if a website is scholarly? So mainly check the domain. If it ends in .edu, .gov, .org, .acuk, .net, etc., it's likely credible. But if it ends in a .com, that's usually a sign it's not. That's very general. Anyone can have a .com domain. So you need to, it could be okay, but you need to check with me first if you're unsure. But when in doubt, again, always reach out. So that's a very, very quick overview of how to research. Again, look at the Canvas page for more. But let's dive into the how to cite. So for this course, we use MLA format, no footnotes, just in-text citations. Then a works cited bibliography at the end. So anytime you quote, summarize, or paraphrase a quote, whether it's a novel, a scholarly article, or a lecture, you need to include an in-text citation. Otherwise, it's plagiarism and you will receive a 0, no questions asked. So example 1 I have here for Moby Dick, Call Me Ishmael, and then you have Melville 1 in parentheses. So if you're quoting the same source again, which I have in the next example, I actually have it on here as example 1 twice when it's example 2, I've just realized, so that's great. But the second example, where it's a line later on in the same paragraph, or it's not the same paragraph, later on, a couple pages later, excuse me, is not down on any map, true places never are. So that one, if you're writing that within the same paragraph, I should say, you don't have to repeat the author's name because you're consistently quoting from them. We know you're still talking about Melville. So hopefully that makes sense. But I should also say, if you move to a new paragraph, or say after this you include a quote from a different author, it resets itself. So be sure to include the author's name again. Again, reach out if you need help. All right, so primary source bibliography. When listing fiction on your works cited page, follow this format. So that would be author's last name, first name, title of novel, publisher, year, and the pages. And if it's one page, it's just one singular P period, and then the page number. But if it's more than one page, it's the PP dot and then page number. That's just how it is. Again, if it's a short story or poem or an article, put the title in quotation marks, and the collection title in italics. If it's a published book length novel, it also needs to be in italics. So an example I have here is from Love's Labour's Lost by Shakespeare. So consider that. I think in this, how I had to do this on this PowerPoint, it didn't include italicization. Sometimes that happens with fonts. Has anyone ever noticed that? Anyway, but yeah, there should be an italicization there. You can look on the Canvas page to see that more clearly. But again, if you're citing a story within a collection, be sure to include both the story and the collection title plus page numbers. Great. So now we are on secondary source bibliography. So for scholarly journal titles, it gets more detailed, but don't worry. Most of the info is right at the top of the article or within the article itself. If you're using a JSTOR article, which is why I really recommend it, they have a page before the article starts that gives all of the information you're looking for citations. It's so handy, so helpful, absolute lifesaver. So you have the format here. Again, you can look here. You can look on the Canvas page for more. I won't go through that, but just be sure that when you're doing it, you're double spacing your citations, you're alphabetizing them, and then you use a hanging indent, which means the second line is indented. A way I like to do it, you can use it with the sort of margin rulers if you're using Word, but just be careful. Sometimes I have difficulty with that, but that might be easier for you. What I like to do, and I explain it on the Canvas page, is it's like an enter backspace space situation. It sounds incredibly confusing, and it's easier to just show you if I've written it out on the Canvas page, but it's easier to show you another way. So reach out if you need help. I'm here to help. And that's really it. I mean, that's your really quick guide to citing and researching for this course. As always, I'm here if you have questions. And that's it. This should just be a quick overview, but happy citing and happy researching. Thanks, guys.